Hey guys, Hot Rod Reverend here, back at it again on the 55 Ford Fairlane. I've been driving it quite a bit this summer, having a great time with it. The other night I ran into a real big problem, and that was the headlights kept flashing on and off intermittently while I was driving home. Kind of interesting. Never run up against that before since I've installed the wiring harness several years ago and the headlights, brand new headlight switch, all that kind of thing. Done a lot of upgrades to the car. Kind of caught me off guard. So what we're going to do is just take a look at this, figure out what's going on, and then I think we've got a great solution in mind. All right, here they go. And they'll flash. And I thought at first it was a ground. And I look at the headlight and try to figure this out, and the ground was fine. I went straight to the battery, no issue. What I believe this is the headlight switch itself has a resistor, little circuit breaker in it, and it gets too hot because of all the current being carried through the headlight. I do not have the headlights on relays. Just real quick, if you're on my channel any length of time, you know I'm a big fan of using relays. For the 55 Ford, I use relays on, let's see, the electric fuel pump that's a backup in line. I've also got a relay that I installed for the carburetor choke, electric choke. I got a relay I installed for the cooling fan for the radiator. And then I've also got a relay that I installed for, let's see, the AC, of course. And I even wired up my own relay for the overdrive solenoid on the tail shaft of that BorgWarner 259 R10 setup. Just to go over this real quick, there's a lot of videos and stuff on YouTube, things you can find on the internet. I always encourage you to use an inline fuse. This is a real simple deal you can get on Amazon, eBay, Napa, your favorite auto parts store. I know, yes, these are blade fuses, but again, the car's not necessarily stock. I've got a lot of upgrades on this thing, so I really don't care what anybody has to say about that. I run the car the way I want to all the time. This is 4-blade, not 5, kind of a Bosch-style relay. You can see how this is set up here. Kind of simplistic, the way that this works. And just to review very quickly, the red on this relay is coming from your power, hot lead straight from the battery, okay? Yellow is going to go to your device you're trying to power. That's going to be your headlamps in this situation. Since we got a low and high beam, I do need 2 relays. All right, that's very critical. I need to ground the relay. Each relay needs to have a ground, okay? And then, of course, the white is your trigger. So this is going to come off of the switch. So for the most part, what I'm going to do with the switch here is just find my low and my high beam lead coming out from underneath the dash, and then wire it correctly for high and low, and then of course my power, and then coming off the battery there will be good to go. So let's get rolling. On the bench, I've got a couple of 30 amp relays got together. I've got a 30 amp fuse in here, and then got the grounds together. And basically what this will be, the white wires are the triggers, so they'll go from the switch, and then the yellow wires are the feed of power. So if you look over here, I've already cut my lines. Rebelwire, these are labeled. Twist this a little bit. See right there, headlight, high beam, and then this is the low beam. And so basically the wires running from the switch we're going to put on our trigger, and then obviously the wires going to the headlights. You can see how they Y out there, left and right. They're going to be the power. And I've got hot right here, and I've got a cap on this. Normally I pulled it off, but that's where I'll wire up to. So wiring's pretty much done. I've not wrapped anything, just left everything open so I can get to it if I need to. Just make sure with your trigger and with your power feed that you're going to the right line. Don't get those too confused, because you're got a relay for low and a relay for high beam. So let's go over here and hit the light switch and see what happens. got lights. Both sides, there's, make sure we got high and low both. There you go, there's a low beam right there. Make sure both are shining. And we'll just let it roll here and see what happens, but that should have taken care of the problem. Been running this for about several minutes. I do have a charger hooked up just so I don't drain my battery here. But no flickering, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and tape this up and call this good. Don't look too bad. More power to the lights anyway. Okay guys, that's a wrap, and glad to find out that we figured out another little nuisance problem here with the 55 Ford. It's been a lot of fun to drive this summer. Just really enjoy it. Want to be able to drive it at night, of course. Glad the headlights are working fine. Whatever car you have or vehicle you have, it may not necessarily be that you need relays. I don't know. It just depends on how much amperage your headlights are drawing, okay? It could be that if you have old wiring or there's a problem with corrosion, you may have a ground trouble. I don't know. Whatever it might be, but do some troubleshooting on that. But I am a big fan, obviously, of relays and using those. You just can't beat them.